for each of the last 2 years. The goal of the Detroit Pistons this year, to make it a three-peat. And tonight, the Eastern Conference semifinals moves to the Palace of Auburn Hills that the Pistons call home for Game 6 between the Boston Celtics and the Detroit Pistons. The Pistons are up 3-2 after a terrific victory over Boston at the Boston Garden on Wednesday night. This basket by Bill Laimbeer with time running out of the shot clock was the clincher. Detroit went on to win it 116-111. Now they need just one more win to take that next step in the playoffs. Hi, everybody. I'm Pete Van Weren along with Hubie Brown, welcoming you to the Palace in Auburn Hills for what Detroit hopes will be the next step toward their three-peat, and what the Boston Celtics hope will be a ticket back to Boston in Game 7. And Hubie Brown, we've talked all series about Isaiah Thomas and Larry Bird. They've been having injury problems. Both are healthy tonight. Tonight, another name is out of the lineup.
Well, Robert Parrish will definitely not play this evening. Joe Klein will be in the starting lineup. Now, we know that his presence will be missed because of the high field goal percentage shooting as well as the shot blocking. As you look at games 4 and 5, won by Detroit, in Game 4, Robert had limited minutes due to foul trouble. In Game 5 because of the injury. These were two major factors for Detroit winning.
Now, earlier in the week, it was the Detroit Pistons who had their backs against the wall. They were down 2-1 after being blown out in this building by the Celtics. They have rebounded 1-2 in a row. The difference, the play of the guards.
Well, Joe Dumars and Vinnie Johnson have really stepped forward. They are not only scoring and playing sound defense, but how about the fact that they are also getting 13 rebounds for you? Now, the bench has been extremely productive. Mark Aguirre, 34 points and 18 off the bench. John Sally now, when he came in, he not only gives you the shot blocking and defense, then you round up the total package with the worm. Not only giving you the defense, but the double figures in rebounding.
It should be a great battle tonight, even without Robert Parrish available. Will the Detroit Pistons clinch it tonight and move on to the Eastern Conference Finals? Or does it go back to Boston, where a leprechaun has been known to lurk in that game? Hubie Brown back with you from the Palace at Auburn Hills, where Game 6 about to get underway. Let's take a look at tonight's G-Beagle starting lineups. As we mentioned, Robert Parrish unable to go tonight. That ankle problem, it's his left ankle, just unable to come around today, so Joe Klein gets the start in the middle. Notice Vinnie Johnson starts at guard in place of Isaiah Thomas, again for Detroit.
Now, the big question will be, will Chuck Daly put Rodman on Gamble like he has been doing to try to keep him out of foul trouble, or will Rodman start off on Bird now that the Celtics only have two main scorers in that starting lineup?
There's the head coach of the Celtics in his first year, Chris Ford, hoping to have one more game in this series back in Boston on Sunday. And Chuck Daly, of course, already has 2 championship rings, and he hopes the Pistons can take that next step toward getting a third here at the Palace of Auburn Hills tonight. He knows the Pistons will be flying somewhere tomorrow. They either go back to Boston for Game 7 on Sunday, or they head over to Chicago for Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Our officials tonight are Dick Bavetta, Jack Madden, and Mike Mathis. And we are set to go from the Palace of Auburn Hills.
A lot of pressure on the Celtics for the third offensive player to step forward to help Bird and Reggie Lewis in the scoring department.
And a lot of pressure on number 53 in green, Joe Klein, who had limited minutes throughout the year. Tonight he's got to play big. And it'll be Detroit with a chance to score first. Joe Dumars has had a terrific series, particularly in games 4 and 5, and he is playing hurt. He's got tendonitis in both knees. Vinnie Johnson got kicked in the right shin, the left shin rather, in practice yesterday. He's ailing a bit. So these Pistons not 100% either. James Edwards takes the first shot of the night, won't go. Klein the rebound.
Joe Klein can just take care of the defensive boards, make his presence felt. He's 7 foot, 275, takes up a lot of room in there. See, this is where they're going to be hurting, Pete, at the offensive end of the floor.
Reggie Lewis has been the high scorer for Boston, misses his first effort. Rebound comes out deep. Dumars brings it down for Detroit. Lewis is on him. In Game 4, it was James Edwards having a big first quarter. In Game 5, it was Vinnie Johnson. And Bill Laimbeer gets a trip to the line to try to get the first points of the night.
Now, Detroit will always open up the game and go down inside on you for the first few possessions because they want to see what your game plan is defensively. They are testing you out. Now, this mismatch of Gamble playing Laimbeer is being exploited early tonight. Let's see if they will continue to go. No way can Gamble stay behind Laimbeer in a low post.
And that is the first miss from the free throw line in this series by Bill Laimbeer. He had hit 23 straight. First point of the night goes to Detroit. Celtics could really use a big game from the guy with the ball right now. Brian Shaw has been kind of quiet throughout this series. He takes it right to the hole, wouldn't go. They're going to call offensive interference.
That was a good call. That ball did not leave the cylinder. It was right above the rim that time.
So the Celtics denied 2 points there, and the Pistons get it back. There's the shot by Laimbeer. That was the same shot he hit over Larry Bird.
Now you can see early, they're going to allow Laimbeer some leeway here to be included in the offense early.
Larry Bird going to the hole. That one comes up short. Laimbeer the rebound. A 3-on-2 break. Dennis Rodman. And the Pistons have jumped off to a 5-0 lead. Chris Ford wants a 20-second timeout.
Now Dennis Rodman really got out on that break fast, Pete. He was 20 feet behind Joe Dumars on the initial pitch out. Now Dumars was looking back over half court to see if Rodman could catch up. That was really an outstanding sprint. Now the pressure definitely on the Celtics. The condition of Larry Bird. Is his back, will he have the flexibility to get down in there and give you some offensive scoring punch? If not, they have to use him as a passer. That means that McHale will come into this game early.
Yeah, we noticed in Game 5 that Larry Bird spent almost all night out in the perimeter. Didn't do much movement toward the basket until very late in the game when the Celtics are making a run. But this is his second move toward the hole tonight. The second time he's missed. Rodman comes away with a rebound. Pistons trying for their 7th straight. Vinnie Johnson off the glass. Too strong. They battle for it underneath. Still rolling loose. There's Rodman losing it out of bounds. Celtics get it back.
Now we know that the Celtics would like to up-tempo things, but in order to do that, they must do a better job on this defensive board and then clear out. Take advantage of their quickness.
And they've got to shoot the ball better. They're 0 for 4 from the field in this first quarter. Here's the guy that's had the hot hand for the Celtics throughout the series, but that one wouldn't fall for him. They're 0 for 5.
Catching Laimbeer on a loose ball foul here right now. See, that's what we mean about Joe Klein. If Joe Klein will just work and try to get to the offensive boards, even though he's not in the first or secondary phase of their offense, he could really help out.
Over it comes to Reggie Lewis. He takes it along the baseline. Up with the stop. Missed that. Laimbeer pulls away the rebound. Lewis thought he had gotten fouled.
Well, he was saying that the guy came up inside the rim also.
Joe Dumars, his first 2 of the night. It's 7-0 Detroit.
Larry Bird is also telling Jack Madden right now that the defensive player put his hand up through the net and knocked that ball out.
Brian Shaw from outside. And there are the first Boston points of the night. It took them 7 field goal attempts to hit their first one. It's 7-2 Detroit.
Yeah, but in the early going, they've had a dunk and they've had 2 drives. So the shots have been high percentage shots.
Vinnie Johnson left unguarded. Not a good idea the way he's been shooting the ball the last couple of games. His first 2. It's 9-2 Pistons. Shaw's jumper, no. Lewis got the offensive rebound, lost it. Who does it belong to? Still belongs to Boston.
Now in Game 5, Boston really shocked people by getting 18 offensive rebounds, and they're going to need another night like that. Nice play.
And Larry Bird has his first 2 of the night.
Detroit fell asleep right there. They were looking for a switch. There was a back screen on Larry Bird's man on the opposite side of the lane that time.
9-4 Detroit, 8.5 minutes to go, first quarter. Pistons leading at 3 games to 2. The winner takes on Chicago in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Now that time, the Pistons were swinging the ball to the other side of the lane, and they were setting a back pick on Rodman's man. They were going to shuffle cut Rodman across the lane. Joe Klein just caught him with a vicious shot.
Second team foul. Rodman inbounds to Dumars. Vinnie Johnson draws the double team, loses the ball. Bird picks it up. Off to Brian Shaw. Shaw will stop and put in the short jumper. He is being much more offensive-minded tonight, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Well, they know that they have to have that third threat out there right now. See, by crossing over, he forced the defensive man to step back. That opened up the distance for him to get the shot.
9-6 Detroit. Dumars working one-on-one against Shaw. Buzzes right by him. Nice move by Dumars. The ball does fall for him. He has 4 points. It's 11-6.
Terrific first step by Dumars when he decided to explode.
They've got Bird against Lane Beer down low. His jumper wouldn't go. Larry's been a little cold with that shot. Klein gets it back again, and got fouled this time. They're going to call a goaltend. No foul. Now goaltending instead. Give the basket to Joe Klein.
Yeah, now Joe's working hard, but he can't throw up that soft stuff. Jeff Daly said, where are you going with a goaltend? I thought that both of the shots were caught on the way up. Joe must go for that dunk. He cannot throw up. He's working hard, but when you get the rebound, you've got to go strong.
Here's Edwards coming across the lane. Wouldn't go for him. Rodman had a hand on it. We got a loose ball foul underneath. This is going to be against Klein.
Big decision. See, Joe has been very active here. Now, Chris did say here right now, I'm going to stay with Joe because I want to keep McHale in his normal rotation. I'll stay with Joe because he's playing big at both ends, even though he has 2 fouls.
Detroit leading at 11-8, 7:15 remaining first quarter. Dumars drawing the double team over to Benny Johnson. Benny couldn't hold on, but gets it back now.
Plenty of time, 10 seconds.
Dumars from out in three-point land. He throws it. He has been hitting those three-pointers throughout this series. Now has 7 points. And it's 14-8 Detroit. So it's the Pistons that have jumped to the early lead. Timeout Detroit, 6:58 to go in the first. 58 remaining in the first quarter, and Joe Dumars, the early star, Hubie.
Well, just watch this quick move on this crossover step. There it is right there now. He has the presence to come underneath the rim because that would have knocked the defensive player off. At the other end of the floor, he gets a three-point opportunity because Shaw is back in here. If you run at Dumars and leave your feet, Joe will break the defense down and get inside. He's off to a terrific start right now. We can see the 3 for 3, but appreciate over on the side. He's 11 for 26 in the playoffs right now for 3-point shooting. Excellent job.
And in the game tonight, 3 out of 3 from the field, 7 points. He also has 2 assists. Boston shooting only 31% early, 4 to 13 from the field. Shaw lost that one off the glass. There's a basket that he thought he had. Rodman's presence may have made him change his mind about the shot.
I tell you, that's a tough shot, B. I mean, you can't turn your back to the basket and expect to knock it in from with the speed that he was going.
Dumars again for 3. Joe Dumars has hit for 10 first quarter points. It's 17-8. He is 4 out of 4 from the field. Larry Bird, no. Rebound pulled away by Edwards. Dumars going to try another one, and there's the first one he's missed all night from 2 or 3-point land.
Celtics have just got to take their time here. Work the basketball around and get the high percentage shot.
Joe Klein from on the top of the circle, no. Rodman, another rebound. 5 rebounds already for the Worm, Dennis Rodman.
During the course of the year, Joe Dumars only made 14 3-point shots. And here he is already in the playoffs, with 13. Amazing.
Reggie Lewis called for his first. That's the 4th team foul.
Every time that the Boston Celtics trap, here comes Kevin McHale. They had to go to this because they're not getting any points. They've already played 6 minutes and they only have 8 points.
The field goal percentage, the big number on Kevin there, hitting only 46% in this series. Normally hits much higher percentage of the shots than that.
See, every time they trap on the pick and roll, Detroit is flashing James Edwards into the lane, and they've been able to hit him. Tough call. I'll tell you, Pete, what they're doing here right now on these pick and rolls, they're called that foul on James Edwards on the roll. And they are cleaning up the pick and roll. They are not going to allow any unnecessary contact or holding people.
Lewis in the paint over Vinnie Johnson. He has not been able to get that jumper of his to fall tonight. He's 0 for 4 from the field.
Well, Vinnie's doing a very good job in extending him on the shot.
I'll tell you what, Dumars is putting on some kind of show tonight. 12 points for Joe Dumars.
From the top of the circle, Brian Duncan have to force him to his left. He cannot continue to let him drive to his right. In the middle of the floor.
19-8 now, Detroit. Larry Bird against Lane Beer, and a whistle from Jack Madden. The foul is going to be called on Bill Lane Beer.
Now you got to see Dumars from the top of the circle. See, he has that he hesitates with that dribble. Some guys call it a stutter dribble. He doesn't exactly put it on the floor 3 or 4 times. He'll give it a high dribble, and then he'll explode right off the bounce.
D. Brown is checked into the Celtic lineup. He'll take the jumper behind the Larry Bird screen. That one wouldn't go. Boston having a terrible time shooting the ball in this first quarter.
All the open jump shots, and they've had a number of them, are all short. They're off the front of the rim.
An 11-point Piston lead. This time it's Lane Beer with the assist from Dumars if it goes, but it doesn't. Rebound pulled away by Reggie Lewis. Gets into the paint again. John Sally's big arms flying in front of him didn't change the shot at all. Reggie Lewis finally hits his first field goal in 5 efforts.
When Reggie Lewis and Larry Bird can run a little streak, it will give the rest of the guys more confidence. The younger players will calm down and get in the flow.
A little over 4 minutes to go. It's 19-10. It's 21-10. Pistons up now by 11. 4 points for Vinnie Johnson.
Dumars and Vinnie are an extension of Game 5.
They haven't cooled off at all, have they? Rodman called for the foul.
Well, in Game 5, the two of them shot 20 for 36.
Sally coming on to put some pressure on Brown. Now drops off him, picks up Bird. Bird dishing off to McHale. Sally comes over there. McHale shot wouldn't fall. Rodman rebound number 6. But threw it away.
Dennis is saying it's my fault. I should not have tried to force the action. They did not have a white shirt over half court. Chuck a little exasperated at that time, but you're not going to stop his work. I think he has 6 rebounds already.
Look at the difference in the field goal shooting. Larry Bird trying to change that. He has 4 points now in the first quarter. 21-12, 9-point Piston lead.
If you're Chris Ford, you're happy right now. You're not happy that you're not scoring, but you're happy with your shots.
You're getting good shots.
Right, absolutely.
But you got to get him to fall in a do-or-die situation like tonight for Boston. Lane Beer going toward the hole. Foul. No, they're going to call the offensive foul on Bill Lane Beer.
Lane Beer cannot believe it. They called the hook that time by spinning. It was a real nice move by Lane Beer by spinning baseline. Mike Matthews said that he hooked him with his right elbow.
So Lane Beer picking up his second.
If Campbell continues to play behind Lambier on the pass, I mean, they should go to Lambier time in and time out.
McHale backing in. There's that fall-away jumper over Bill Lambier. Kevin McHale gets his first points of the night. 21-14, a 7-point Detroit lead. Now some backcourt pressure. Just a little.
This looks like a high pick and roll with Rodman.
Vinnie Johnson taking the jumper. Rodman pulls away. Rebound number 7, keeping it alive 2 or 3 times before finally pulling it down. Dumars has been sensational in this first quarter. 14 points for Joe Dumars. 23-14 Pistons. Larry Bird, another rebound for Rodman. 8 boards for Dennis Rodman in the first quarter.
At this end of the floor right now, the Celtics, the perimeter people, cannot continue to allow their players to post them up and play directly behind them. It's too easy a catch.
Lane Beer all alone. Couldn't get the jumper to fall. D. Brown high in the air for the rebound as Rodman gets spilled. D. Brown is limping. Reggie Lewis gets his 4th point.
Yeah, D. Brown has sprained his right ankle. That time when he came down, he landed on Dennis Rodman's foot. The people in this building, they all wanted a loose ball foul. You can see
he's favoring it.
He's struggling right now.
That's the last thing Boston needs is another injury. Vinnie Johnson behind a Sally pick, and Vinnie Johnson gets that one to fall, and things get a little rough out there. 25-16, Pistons by 9, a minute and a half to go in the first quarter. McHale. Nope. Rebound Lane Beer. Off it comes to Dumars. In transition, the Pistons. Dumars. Rodman to Sally. Sally. Good patience by Spider Sally. His first field goal of the night. 2:15 to go in the first quarter. The hero has been Joe Dumars, who has 14 points already in this quarter. And earlier, Hubie Brown asked Joe Dumars about the Pistons' attitude going into this game with the Celtics.
If we come to play, Coach, I believe we're going to win. And I honestly believe every one of those guys out on the court are going to come to play. If we don't come to play, we'll lose. And I don't know if that's a fear of mine, but that's the only way I see us losing. If we come to play hard the way we do and play defense, I see us winning.
Supreme confidence, and Joe Dumars should have that kind of confidence after the 2 back-to-back titles the Pistons have won. They really feel that even though they didn't post the record they wanted to during the regular season this year, they really feel that they should not be overlooked when you talk about who's going to win the NBA championship this year. Closing into the 1-minute mark, 27-16.
Now that Lambier's out of there, Rodman's on Bird.
And Reggie Lewis, who has scored 20 or more points in every game, including 30 in Game 5, now has 6, and he's in his last 3. He may be getting on a roll. 27-18.
They need Reggie to get going, especially off the dribble, to break Detroit down. They have McHale in there for the low post threat, and then that will allow Bird to roam in the outside. You can see, once again, Bird is very, very stiff, and he's playing straight up.
Vinnie Johnson puts it up from the paint, and no good. Rebound, Larry Bird. Almost had it stolen from behind by Sally. Lewis will fire over Mark Aguirre. And Reggie Lewis is now hit for 8 points in this first quarter. It's now a 7-point Detroit lead.
If they can get the ball to Reggie in the flow, that's where he's the most dangerous. He's terrific off the dribble, gets the defender going back, and then he just stops and hits that jumper, 18-20.
Dumars hits another one. 16 points in the quarter for Joe Dumars. He is 7 for 8 from the field, including 2 3-pointers. The great quickness of D. Brown on display. Count the basket. There's a foul under there.
Now, this is what they need from D, and it's a shame. You're going to see he'll come out of here limping. And it's tough. See, their best set with this group in is for Larry Bird to be out on the right wing, Kevin McHale in on the post. And they just ran that play. Because when Bird wants to go into McHale, that opens up D. Brown in the painted area. Right around that 15-foot line. But he needs the explosiveness to be able to get to the basket.
Kevin McHale makes it 29-23. Celtics back to within 6. You see the time left. Dumars, who has done everything else right in this quarter, couldn't get that one to go as the horn sounds.
Nice defensive play by Eddie Pinckney. He's definitely deflected that ball. And he is coming off an outstanding game off the bench in Game 5.
But it's Detroit's lead at the end of 1 after a 16-point quarter from Joe Dumars. We return to the Palace of Auburn Hills, Game 6 of the Eastern Conference semifinals. The Detroit Pistons leading it 29-23 in a game that Boston is playing a do-or-die situation and having to do it without that man, Robert Parrish. We saw him, Hibby, at the hotel walking toward the team bus tonight, and he was favoring that ankle so much. We thought even back then that he wasn't going to be able to play. No official word came until he got here. And Isaiah Thomas checks in for the first time tonight.
Now, in Game 5, Isaiah played 15 minutes, and he really did a great job as a point guard. He came in with 6 assists during that short period of time.
It's Sally on McHale. Kevin McHale now has 5.
In this Boston offense, we must see D. Brown attack Isaiah Thomas just like he did in Game 5. Try to break him down off the dribble.
Aguirre working against Pinckney. And we're going to get a foul call against Pinckney. That's his first.
Well, Aguirre has been working extremely hard. He becomes the focus on the low post area now that James Edwards is out of the game.
In that rebounding category, Dennis Rodman had 8 of the 16 rebounds. Mark Aguirre, who's been shooting the ball exceptionally well from outside, 52% for this series, hits his first field goal. It's 31-25. Pistons by 6 now.
Aguirre, the only guy shooting over 50% for Detroit.
That's a travel call against D. Brown. who complains some to Mike Mathis about it.
Well, he gets himself in trouble because he'll go down in the lane and he turns his back on the basket. And that's where they always seem to get him for the travel.
Here's Aguirre with Pinckney. Brown comes over to help out. Little two-man game now with Aguirre and Isaiah Thomas.
See, this is smart. D. Brown should get back in and help out as much as possible. Force Isaiah to hit the outside shot.
Isaiah's going to take it from out in three-point line and whip a little short. Rebound, offensive board for Joe Dumars. Isaiah's going to try it again. Missed it again. And as Rodman and Bird battle for the rebound, Larry Bird's going to be called for a while.
Well, Bird had inside position that time. See, Chris Ford makes a good point. Larry can put his body on Rodman, but he cannot elevate. There is no way that he can get up with the back the way in the condition that it's in right now. Now that is the Detroit Pistons' 5th offensive rebound. This is a good fight right here. Pinckney pushing Aguirre out.
So it comes back to Dumars. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Dumars taking it over Kevin Gamble. That was a 2-point effort. No offensive board. John Sally, he was fouling the way up. And this time he'll go to the line.
Yeah, see, he thinks he's split open. See, that's why he jumped up so quickly. It knocked his glasses off. Bird definitely gave a good hard foul because you know that Sally is a very poor shooter.
They're going to call the flagrant foul.
Now just keep an eye on this. Now watch Bird. Now, they called a deliberate foul because you are behind the player going for the layup. And they're saying that you could hurt him in this situation, so you get a 2-shot foul as well as the ball on the side. Now, in Sally's case, Sally draws a lot of fouls, and he only plays 23 minutes a game in the playoffs, but he's getting to the line 5 times a game. He's already missed 10.
And he just missed another one. 31-25 Pistons our score.
Yeah, he's 13 for 24. He's been extremely active. His big thing is that he's got to do a better job shooting the fouls, or they'll foul him every time that he has a chance for a dunk or a layup.
Sally missed them both, but in this flagrant foul situation, the ball still belongs to the Detroit Pistons.
See, the referees tonight, Pete, have made it. They are coming in here. They are now allowing any rough play. They cleaned it right up on the pick and roll stuff, and down inside, nobody can go over the back.
Beautiful pass inside to Aguirre, but he couldn't cash in on it. D. Brown breaks the other way. 31-25 Detroit. Celtics trying to pull back to within 4.
They should go right down in here now. If Dumars is on McHale.
Aguirre coming over to help out in the double team. Comes over to Lewis. There's a double team on him. Down to 5 seconds left in the shot clock. Blocked by Sally. Ball loose. D. Brown had it. Tied up by Rodman.
Now, Jack Madden had a 24-second call. Now, because he is saying there was no possession. That was the first call by the official on the wing. All right, Mike Mathis comes out from underneath. And let's see what they have here now. You're going to see the move by McHale down in here. Sally comes across for the shot block. All right, now you have the shot block. All right, now they're calling a jump ball situation between the 2 guys who are on the floor.
So it'll be Pinckney and Sally at center court. They've got a problem here in the Palace with someone blowing a whistle in the seats. And they've made a couple of announcements trying to get that individual to stop.
Well, you know, if it continues, the referees can, they could hit.
They can start calling technical fouls. That's right.
Call a technical foul, and that's the only way that you embarrass this person, because they've already announced it once, and they continue to blow the whistle.
You sound like a whistle. Don't do that. Thank you.
That's about the 3rd announcement that has been made here in the Palace, trying to get that fan or fans, whoever they are, to put away the whistles. And of course, that does begin to encourage some others in the crowd now to start whistling.
Well, I think Mike Mathis just told Chuck Daly, so it'll be interesting if they'll make the announcement that it will cost them a technical foul. I don't know if they will. But they have the power to do that.
Now they're calling for security to come over. And Mike Mathis is going to
tell them to go in search of a whistle.
Make that 3-second call, and this isn't an issue.
Right now, the Celtics are weathering an incredible start by Joe Dumars. The fact that they only shot 39% for the quarter. The fact that Detroit has 6 offensive rebounds, and they are only down 6 points. You know, I mean, they're right in this thing.
Controlled by Detroit. Isaiah Thomas will walk the ball across the line. 31-25. Pistons up by 6. 9:45 to go, first half.
All right, staggered screens on the baseline for Dumars.
Sally up over McHale. No rebound pulled away by Eddie Pinckney. Off to D. Brown.
With this group, this is a quick group now. If they get it up the floor, they'll test Detroit's transition defense.
Dumars sticking like glue on Reggie Lewis. His shot wouldn't go. McHale keeping it alive, still keeping it alive. He and Rodman dueling for it. And McHale has earned himself a trip to the foul line. John Sally picking up his first.
Eddie Pinckney be terrific. He kept that alive twice. Knocked it back to McHale, who also kept it alive until he could get good control of the ball and then made a strong move to the basket.
So Kevin McHale with 5 points in the game, making his second trip to the free throw line tonight. He cans the first one. At the conclusion of tonight's game, Hubie Brown and I will be selecting the Budweiser player of the game. And will that player of the game lead the Detroit Pistons to a 4-2 victory over the Celtics? Or will it be a Boston player leading the Celtics to a return trip to the Boston Garden? You mentioned a good point, Hubie. All the spectacular play by Dumars and Rodman in that first quarter. It's only a 4-point game.
All right, the 2 primary scorers out there right now are Dumars and Aguirre.
Well, Dumars is about as hot as you can be in this first half. He has 18 points. He's 8 of 11 now from the field. 33-27 Pistons. He also has 5 assists and a couple of rebounds. Sally right on McHale. He tried to get it underneath to Lewis. He does, but the shot won't go. Boy, those white shirts were all around the ball that time, weren't they?
Yeah, good call. Over the back that time. See, they are not allowing anyone to come over the back. Now, it'll be interesting to see if they can keep consistent all the way, and especially if the game is close in the last 6 minutes.
Pinckney's second foul, the 4th team foul. And Detroit gets it back with 8:40 remaining first half.
See, everything is down on the baseline for Dumars and Aguirre.
Terrific ball movement. Dennis Rodman, no. Rebound is out of bounds. Off Detroit.
Kevin McHale is greatly hampered because that left ankle, the ligaments or that the bone problem that he has, he cannot elevate and get up. Now you're going to see this is a nice pass down in here to Dumars. He freezes Reggie Lewis with that look. Reggie's looking for him. You got to play Joe for the drive because he's been extremely aggressive in games 4, 5, and tonight.
McHale over Aguirre. No. Isaiah Thomas high in the air for the rebound. Off to Aguirre, but Aguirre lost the ball in the paint.
All right, 3-on-2.
McHale into Kevin Gamble. Kevin Gamble nowhere to go with it. Hands the ball to Kevin McHale. They've got an open man. It's D. Brown. He gets the shot up over Sally. They've somehow found a way to get a ball out of that corner and swung it around to D. Brown. He has 4.
D. Brown, everyone says he's going to be a star in this league, no doubt about it. Not just only because of the quickness and the fact that he helps you on the boards, but he has that ability to knock in the wide open jump shots.
Dumars going to the hole, has 20 points in the first half. It's 35-29, Detroit by 6.
It's a clear out now for Reggie to take Dumars. He's trying to tell McHale to move away.
Stolen by Rodman. Another Detroit break, 3-on-2. Sally. (37-29), Detroit by 8.
Great pass that time by Dennis Rodman. Perfect, right to the front of the rim.
Timeout, Boston.
Down inside to post up. We're going to show you poor spacing on the opposite side of the floor. See, they switch. Now they have McHale. Dumars. Now here comes the double team. Now, look what's happening as we let it flow a little bit further. You're going to see 3 green shirts come into an area, and as we stop it for you, the 2 defensive players can cover the 3 offensive guys, making it almost impossible for McHale to find the free man. And throughout this series, this has been the biggest problem any time that Boston has been forced to rotate their passing.
Set to resume here with 6:58 remaining in the half. 37-29. Pinckney, Brown, McHale, Lewis, and Gamble for the Celtics. Thomas, Aguirre, Sally, Dumars, and Rodman for Detroit. D. Brown has 6 points.
See, anytime they show pick and roll, Isaiah must favor the middle of the floor. D. Brown just blew right by the big man to the baseline. They can do that almost every time down the floor.
Detroit by 6, 37-31. Larry Bird getting ready to check back in.
This is good. They're trying to get Aguirre going here right now. He's had huge shots.
Another three-pointer for Joe Dumars. 23 points in the half for Dumars. 3 3-pointers.
Detroit by 9. Dick Pavetta blows a whistle from the other side of the court. Illegal defense.
See, when McHale went to post up, his defensive man fronted him. Mark Aguirre came all the way into the lane, and that was called the illegal defense. This is Dumars once again unloading a 3. He just has the field tonight. He's in a beautiful flow.
Brown trying to get by Thomas again. Sally punched the ball away, but committed the foul. That's his second.
When Reggie Lewis, Gamble, and D. Brown go into the lane off the dribble, they must make something happen from a positive standpoint. They cannot throw up weak shot attempts or turn the ball over because everyone is below the foul line. Detroit, they're releasing people, and they're getting out on the fast break.
There you see the series that D. Brown has had. He's gotten a lot of playing time because Brian Shaw has been ineffective.
Well, he's averaging 30 minutes off the bench, and that's a quality time. But more important, the confidence that Chris Ford has in him. He's playing very, very loose, and he's making big pressurized plays.
Yeah, he made 2 big baskets for Boston in their run against Detroit in the Wednesday night game. Another beautiful pass underneath to John Sally, who has 6 points.
See, Detroit, when you double team, Detroit, they're getting layups.
Rodman right on Kevin McHale. McHale got the shot off, wouldn't go. Pinckney, the offensive board.
Nice.
And Eddie Pinckney's hard work pays off. He has 2. It's 42-35. Still a 7-point Detroit lead.
See, they're trying to get by with Dennis Rodman playing McHale in the low post. The low post guy is getting help from the opposite side. And when that happens, that opens up right there Eddie Pinckney against guards on the other side of the floor.
Isaiah Thomas takes it from just inside the line, and Isaiah hits his first point in the last 2 games. He did not score in Game 5.
That's all right. You've got to continue to force Isaiah to score.
4 on 2. Dumars again. Unbelievable. Joe Dumars. I don't think there's much doubt about who the MVP in this game has been so far. He's 11 for 14 from the field. He has 25 points. Aguirre the rebound. 46-35. Detroit can open up its biggest lead. Joe could not hold on to it that time.
You're Chris Ford right now. You don't like what's happening. That was a 4-on-2 once again. The Celtics are getting everyone caught below the foul line. And all Detroit has to do is rebound the ball and kick it out. And they are in great transition opportunity at the other end of the floor.
Another Boston timeout. To the ninth, 46-35 over the Boston Celtics. You see the time left in the second quarter. Take a look at tonight's GMC Truck Playoff Summary. It's the Chicago Bulls awaiting the winner of this series. They'll be in their 3rd straight conference finals, and they have not lost a playoff game at home in the last 2 years. And of course, the Bulls do have home court advantage in the finals this year. There's the West, Hubie. The Blazers, great team at home. The Lakers in their 9th conference final in 10 years. Blazers won the season series. What about that series?
Well, you have to like it. It's a toss-up. Portland playing great basketball. One of the best home court records, 36-5 during the course of the year. But it will be the inside play. They'll really challenge Portland. But then, you know, LA's going to have to really work hard getting back defensively all night long.
Randy Lewis couldn't get it to fall. The tip is good.
That could go to either guy, Eddie Pinckney or to McHale.
They're giving it to Pinckney.
Yeah.
46-37, 9-point lead by the Pistons, who have not trailed throughout this first half. They reeled off the first 7 points of the game. And Joe Dumars having an unbelievable first 2 quarters. Off the head of Rodman that time. Now we've got the Celtics in transition. The speedy D. Brown.
Oh, wow!
Made that basket somehow.
He really landed hard that time, because as he was up there going on and extending his arm to lay it up, he was hooked. Now that ball hit hard and ricocheted right into the basket. We're going to give you a couple of looks at this. Now just keep an eye on this. Now see, he sees he's going to explode. Now watch, see, he gets caught by Aguirre. The ball just hugs right in, and he really came down hard. Strong move by D. Brown.
And the ovation you're hearing now is for Joe Dumars, who has just left the ball game for the first time tonight. Vinnie Johnson checking in, and D. Brown missing a chance for the 3-point play. 46-39, 7-point lead.
Big thing for the Celtics now. The hot guy is out of the game. You play tough defense. You must make them miss a few times, take advantage at the other end of the floor.
Aguirre is trying to get us going after 2 good games off the bench. He hits this one. He's got 4 now in this game. It's 48-39. Detroit by 9 again.
Nice move by Mark, but I was surprised Eddie Pinckney did not challenge that shot.
Comes down low to McHale. There's that active fadeaway shot over John Sally. Kevin McHale.
See, McHale is moving quickly to get the shot off, going away from Sally. Sally's waiting for his second move, and he's caught him twice now with the early shot.
Aguirre draws the double team. But the Pistons, as they've done so well the last 3 games, 2 quick passes to an open man, Isaiah Thomas this time.
You can't expect D. Brown to leave Isaiah on one side, double team on the other, and then get back to Isaiah.
Pistons have done a great job against that all this series. 50-41. McHale leaning in on Sally. Going to the hole, got the basket to fall, and he'll go to the free throw line besides.
Kevin, very patient down in there. When he wants to go to the basket, he'll exhaust all of the cutters. Then he'll look at the double team. That time, he stepped right between it and then did the underhand shot. A lot of guys do not have that move.
McHale converting the 3-point play. He has 11 points now.
Remember what we said. Joe Dumars on fire. Celtics struggling. They're only down 6.
They have managed to hang around all night. Aguirre over Pinckney and McHale. Nope, rebound, still rolling loose. And there's John Sally with it.
They're the ones you must get. You force the miss.
3 different Celtics had a hand on that one. Kevin McHale's going to be called for this foul. This will be his first.
See, that was very costly that time, because 3 Celtics had an opportunity for that first rebound.
Coming up at halftime, our Prudential halftime report. Ernie Johnson's in our Atlanta studios. Phoenix head coach Cotton Fitzsimmons joins him again tonight. Also a West Conference Finals preview with Blazers head coach Rick Adelman, Lakers head coach Mike Dunleavy. That's all in the Prudential halftime report. Coming up in just a little while. 2:09 left to go in quarter number 2. Sally 0 for 2 from the line. And Hubie told you earlier he's been missing a lot of free throw attempts in this series.
But he's made his presence felt every night. He's played 21 minutes, and he's averaging 7 points a game and 4 rebounds, as well as 1.5 blocks a game. Never mind the ones he intimidates.
During the regular season, he hit 73% from the line, so he has struggled, although he made those 2. 52-44. Pistons up by 8, closing in on the 2-minute mark here in quarter number 2. McHale over Sally. Kevin, who has not been shooting the ball well until this second quarter.
But when he makes the quick move, he's catching John laying back.
McHale has scored the last 7 Boston points. Now has 13 in the game. Still a 6-point Detroit lead. 52-46. Aguirre all alone. Well, rebound comes out deep. D. Brown has it for Boston. They can get to within 4 now. A minute and a half to go in the first half. McHale again working on Sally, who has 3 fouls in this first half. McHale throws one up, and they're going to get Sally again. That's number 4 on it. McHale and Sally, here they go.
Easy. What are they doing? Come on, this is... Sally was perturbed. Whatever happened as McHale walked past Sally definitely irritated him and forcing him to go right after McHale. Now that was a terrific move by McHale. As he stepped in on him, we call that an up and under move. Now the officials, it's going to be interesting what they call. Great offensive move that time by McHale. You always say one of the best of all time down in that post. He's been showing Sally fall away stuff, fall away. Now watch, he gives him maybe the baby hook, no, up, and then he comes underneath him and goes up. Now once he got fouled, see, he caught him. See, he took a poke at him. Definitely took a poke at him. Then he said, and then he pushed him. Okay, so he did 2 things. McHale hit him first with the left hand lightly. Then he said something to him. Then he pushed him as he walked past. That infuriated Sally. See, but in a game like this, you're John Sally. They need you in this ball game. They need you defensively.
They're calling it double technical, 1 each on Sally and McHale. Scott Hastings is going to check into the Detroit lineup. They're going to try to cool John Sally off. Also, he's picked up his 4th personal foul.
Now, Hastings came in game 5, did a very good job for them. Chuck Daly makes a good statement about Hastings. I trust him. He's a real professional. He knows his job. He will come in and not hurt us. He will not try to do things that are out of his range.
The big minutes he gave Chuck Daly were in game 4. McHale, who has 14 points on the night, misses the free throw. Hey, you see a 56% field goal percentage in his playoff career, which makes the percentage he's shooting in this series not look very good. Only 46% coming into this game. And you don't very often see him miss 2 free throws in a row like that time. Still 52-46 Pistons. A minute 15 to go in the half. Isaiah trying to hit the cutter. Missed him.
Yeah, that's the old story. When you play with a good passer, you never turn your head to the rim until you see the ball leave his hand on the shot. Both guys were wide open, and they're looking at the rim rather than Isaiah.
Rebound off the floor to Rodman. A 4-on-2 break again. Vinnie Johnson takes it in against Larry Bird. Out to Aguirre. Bird punches the ball back out to Scott Hastings.
Plenty of time here.
Vinnie Johnson from outside. Vinnie Johnson has 8. And the lead back up to 8 for Detroit.
Celtics right now, they could go for 2 possessions if they would hurry up. There's 38 seconds to go here. You see, that helped them right there. You get a foul by Hastings playing behind McHale, hitting him before the pass was made. Now, that's a penalty situation. McHale going to the line. Now, McHale is normally an outstanding free throw shooter. This year, he only shot like 78%. But in 1987, he's the only player. He shot over 60% from the field and over 80 from the line. That is the only time in NBA history that a player ever shot over 60% from the field and over 80% from the line.
McHale making the first one to make it 54-47. Larry Bird sitting down. Brian Shaw checking in. We've only got 35.7 seconds remaining in this first half. McHale makes them both.
Green underwear on.
He has 13 points in the quarter, 16 in the game. 54-48, a 20-second timeout taken now by Detroit.
Now Chuck Daly is coming in with Joe Dumars right now. Now he's been sitting on the bench for a good piece of time. Now the Celtics, this also helps the Celtics, see, because they must shoot. They must shoot here. You're the Celtics. Even if they score, you still have 11 seconds to come up and set something up and then get a good shot attempt.
Want to remind you that our upcoming games on TNT as playoff action continues. All starts on Tuesday. It'll be either Detroit or Boston playing the Chicago Bulls at Chicago Stadium in the first half of our doubleheader. He'll be there with Ron Thulin for that one. And the second half of our doubleheader, the Lakers and the Portland Trailblazers. Bob Neal and Doug Collins in the West.
Now, right now, Chuck Daly has a small unit on the floor. He has Dumars, Isaiah Thomas, and Vinnie Johnson in the game here with Mark Aguirre at the small forward.
You've got about an 11-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. Vinnie Johnson asking for help. Scott Hastings comes out to give him some. Hastings taking it through the middle, dishing off to Mark Aguirre.
Like Chuck Daly says, I trust him. Nice pass by Scott.
He has picked up 2 quick assists since checking into the game. It's 56-48.
Now the big thing for the Celtics, they must retaliate. They're inside of 7 seconds.
They get it down to Kevin McHale, who's had the hot hand for them this quarter. He puts it up over Hastings. They're going to call the foul on Scott Hastings, who's furious.
Now, he felt he didn't get him. Our view, we were blocked that time because there were 2 defensive players, you know, cutting us off. But he probably got him with the body.
So Kevin McHale back to the line. He has made 6 out of 8 from the line in this first half. Has 16 points overall. He leads all Boston scorers. 56-49. McHale, who's been averaging 18 points a game during this series, has a chance for his 18th in the first half tonight, and he gets them both.
You're only down 6 feet. You weathered an incredible storm.
Aguirre is going to launch one at the horn. It went off the clock. So quarter number 2 comes to an end, and as you said, Hubie, despite the spectacular first half by Joe Dumars, despite some great rebounding by Dennis Rodman.
Build on the boards, and right now Larry Bird has played 18 minutes, has 1 rebound. Gamble 17 minutes, no rebound. Joe Klein in his little 6-minute stint had 4. Now as you look at this, the field goal shooting is down for Boston. Why? Because Reggie Lewis and Bird are 6 for 20. At the rebounding end, we just said that Dennis Rodman naturally leading them with 11. I mean, so valuable.
And there's that backcourt again for Detroit. 37 points and 11 assists combined for Boston, 22 and 4. And look at the Boston bench, though. That's been the one thing that's really kept the Celtics in this one. Kevin McHale, Dee Brown, and Ed Pinckney.
Oh, they are doing a terrific job. They're shooting a high percentage. Now, we want to show you some highlights. Now, Dumars is on fire. When a guy is knocking in nothing but, you know, long jump shots or threes, you must go out and force him to put the ball down in his opposite hand. Now, tonight, Dumars Johnson naturally do it. You had Isaiah 2 for 2 in there, and you can see that their guards are shooting a high percentage, 17 for 26. We're going to show you a nice low post play by McHale. See, McHale is showing Sally everything. He's showing the turnarounds, etc. Now keep an eye on Dee Brown here. Isaiah's going to make a pass over and then cut through to the opposite side of the floor. Now, when he does this, you're going to keep an eye on Dee Brown. Ball goes out to the wing. Dee Brown is coming down inside. Now, this is the patience of Detroit. Now, just watch what happens. Dee Brown now will come running, and you have your double team. Now, we're going to show you, you have the double team right here. Now, this pass is going to go out to the top and then all the way to the opposite side of the floor to Isaiah Thomas. Now, watch how Detroit just clears out this entire side, and then we say, Dee Brown, how can you run from all the way over here and get back on that double team? Impossible. Mainly, why? Because of the great ball movement of the Detroit Pistons.
So the third quarter about to begin here. Detroit trying to lock things up in this Eastern Conference semifinal series. They reeled off the first 7 points and have never trailed. It's 56-50 going into quarter number 3. If the Celtics are able to bounce back and win it, they send it back to the Boston Garden, where that man, hopefully for the Celtics, would get back in there. It's really a shame to see a player that great have to miss a game like this, but the left ankle just wouldn't respond.
Now, in the early going, Detroit must go at Joe Klein and get Joe Klein in foul trouble because of the size factor.
Klein only got 6 minutes in that first half. He's in there in place of Robert Parrish, along with Shaw, Lewis, Gamble, and Bird. And the first rebound belongs to guess who? Dennis Rodman.
It's like the beginning of the first quarter. All the easy shots inside of the dotted line were missed early.
That's a dozen rebounds for Rodman.
Now they're going right down inside to James Edwards versus Klein. You would expect this early. Joe Klein must, now you see, picks up the foul. Good. Can't do that. Can't play that way.
That's his third.
Fouls Joe Klein. His third, team's first.
See, now this is smart basketball. Go right at Joe Klein. Do not throw the fadeaway jump shot out of the lane. Put it down and challenge him.
And James Edwards still searching for his first points of the night.
Now, James has not been an outstanding free throw shooter throughout his entire career.
He hits one of the two to make it 57-50.
Like we said earlier, with this group on the floor for the Celtics, Reggie Lewis and Bird must get the majority of your early shot attempts.
Reggie Lewis couldn't get that jumper to fall. Rebound kept alive again by Rodman. Lane Beer finally pulls it away, and Dumars walks the ball down for Detroit.
Tough decision for Chris Ford. If you're going to stay with Gamble out there, he must become more involved, especially at the defensive rebounding area.
Line called for another one underneath. That is 4 on him now.
See, they run a baseline screen for James Edwards. Keep an eye on this now. See, this is a guard screen. So he puts his arms on. See, you can't do that. All he had to do was just stand there. Edwards is not allowed, to go down outside. He would be out of the play. He can't catch a pass out of bounds.
Now you've got a technical call on Klein as well, who said something to the officials, but we were showing it at a replay. Joe Dumars drills the free throw. He has 26 points. 35 is his career playoff high. His best playoff game this year, 32 points. He got that in game 5 of this series. Edwards over Klein. Wouldn't go for him this time. There's another offensive rebound. Lane Beer the putback and a chance for a 3-point play.
Now, that's exactly what we were just talking about. It just forces Chris to make the 2 substitutions right away. Gamble at inside position. Bill Laimbeer, keep an eye on the left side, just goes right up over the top. All right, and there's Gamble out of there. See, if you cannot have the luxury of Gamble in the game if he's not going to rebound for you. This guy right here, you put the double-figure rebounds almost in the cement before the game begins at playoff time.
What did Chuck Daly call him this morning? He said, he's my warrior. He said, there is nobody more competitive on this club than Bill Laimbeer. 60-50, the Pistons up by 10. 10.5 minutes to go, third quarter. Larry Bird left uncovered, top of the circle. He can't get that shot to fall. He's now 2 for 9 from the field.
It's like we keep coming back to, Pete. They cannot get any easier shots.
Edwards over McHale. Nope, the rebound comes out deep. McHale had it stripped away by Vinnie Johnson.
Cotton Fitzsimmons made an excellent point at halftime. And the Celtics are getting beaten to every loose ball. And any time a rebound comes off in traffic, they're losing both floors.
Biggest lead of the night for Detroit, 62-50. 9:50 to go in the third. Shaw had the ball tipped away. It still belongs to Boston, but only 5 seconds on the shot clock.
5 seconds.
I'm watching this game tonight. Just watch the difference. When Detroit gets double teamed, the spacing on the other side of the floor versus when Boston gets double teamed.
Some kind of shot there by Brian Shaw. Just did beat the 24-second clock. First points of the third quarter for the Celtics. 62-52. Detroit up by 10. Dumars draws the double team. Look at Detroit go to work. This time Shaw quickly got back over to Vinnie Johnson. He still gets the shot away. Wouldn't go. Rebound off the fingertips of Kevin McHale.
Yeah, good call that time. Joe Dumars was on the back of Kevin McHale, and he pulled his arm.
That's Dumars' first personal of the night.
You're Boston here. You're relying on 2 guys to board for you, and neither guy can elevate off the floor. McHale and Larry Bird.
Yeah, Larry Bird can't jump at all right now. That back is causing him to spend most of the night out on the perimeter. He's primarily a passer now.
When Shaw's out on the floor, he must become very aggressive, taking the people off the dribble. They are going to double team as much as possible on McHale since he's back in. And that means that Shaw will just attack the rim. He can make a lot of easy things happen for the Celtics.
Dumars picking up his second foul, both in this quarter. Shaw at the line for the first time. He now has all 4 Boston points in this quarter, 8 in the ballgame. No assists yet for Brian Shaw, though. That's got to change if the Celtics want to get back in this. 62-54.
Detroit's doing a real good job out of their half-court offense.
There's Dumars uncovered. Why, you ask? Why would you leave him out there? 28 points for Dumars.
Well, you see, they're trying to help out on all the curl moves off the screens, but Detroit is making the extra pass. You can be selfish and force up some shots, but they are not doing that.
Kevin McHale hits the jumper. He now has 20 points. It's back to an 8-point lead, 64-56. The Celtics have been hanging around. They're not letting the Pistons run away with it, that's for sure.
They're double teaming Kevin McHale very early, forcing them to find free people.
Vinnie Johnson gives it right back to James Edwards. And Edwards.
I like what Chuck Daly said about Vinnie Johnson. Everyone just thinks he's a shooter. He is our best passer. He'll always make the extra pass.
Kevin McHale answers on the other end. He has 22. 66-58, still an 8-point lead.
Celtics need some defensive stops.
Great pass to Rodman along the baseline. Gets it out to Vinnie Johnson. Johnson comes up short, gets his own rebound. Another offensive board by Johnson. That one misses too. Rebound off the floor, picked up by Edwards. He got fouled on the way up by Larry Bird.
Eddie Pinckney just hit the stanchion, punched the stanchion twice. The reason the rebound came off hit him right in the hand. And you can see, if you're zeroing in on some of these replays, Larry Bird cannot elevate off the floor. Now just watch as this shot goes up to the left of your screen. You're going to see the ball come right. There's Pinckney. See, he just bumped it right out of his hand. It's really cost them tonight.
So Bird called for his third. Edwards sinks them both. He has 5 in the quarter and in the game. And the lead back up to 10, 68-58.
It's Joe Dumars' incredible run, plus all of the garbage points that Detroit's getting.
Lewis takes it right to Lambeer. Can't get it to go. An offensive board for Eddie Pinckney this time. Shaw, jumper, no. Gets his own rebound. Nowhere to go with it. Invents a move. Wouldn't go that time. 3 shot attempts missing for Boston. Dumars down to Rodman. No. Rebound McHale. Bird the pass to Pinckney. Trying to beat Lambeer. Does. Nice move by Pinckney. He has 6 points. It's 68-60. An 8-point game again.
Once again in the open floor crossover on that defensive player. And Eddie Pinckney dunked that with 2 hands.
6:50 to go, third quarter. Detroit up 3 games to 2. Beautiful pass underneath to Dennis Rodman. Left uncovered. He has 4. The lead back up to 10.
See, they continue to trap that guy, and they're sending Rodman right to the front of the rim. He's open every single time.
Dumars, who has 28 points tonight, also had 7 assists. McHale, about the only guy who's been able to really do much scoring tonight for Boston, getting a lot of field goal attempts. And he'll get a couple of more free throw tries when play resumes here. But right now we've got a timeout, 6:30 to go, third quarter. Detroit 70, Boston 60.
Edwards busting into the lane. Larry Bird was late in the first half, but watch him deny that pass. But unfortunately, that opens up Rodman standing under the rim. Now that is a designed rotation by the Detroit coaching staff.
And you see by that number something that Chuck Daly loves to talk about. He always says of Dennis Rodman, he's the only player I've ever seen who doesn't care if he gets a single shot in the game. He lives on rebounding and defense. McHale at the line as play resumes. McHale missing that one.
I mean, we're just seeing some bad foul shooting by a great foul shooter. Now, Kevin right now has missed 3 tonight.
He is now 9 of 12. 5 points in the quarter, 23 in the game for McHale. A 9-point Detroit lead.
Pick and roll.
Lambeer over Pinckney. Bill Lambeer with 7.
See, Chuck Daly's smart. They took the pick and spot up away from the top of the circle over to the wing, and that negates the rotation by the Celtics.
Kevin McHale. Well, he's been the offense for Boston tonight. He's been the only guy that's really been able to get anything going.
Well, outside of the only other guy is D. Brown. You know, they were the only 2 people in double figures at halftime.
25 now for McHale on the night. Dumars having a remarkable night. He has 30 points.
We've been saying this beat throughout this entire series. Boston doing just a very poor job in the pick and roll situation.
The miss by Lewis. The rebound by Laimbeer. Dumars will walk it down again. A chance to give Detroit their biggest lead.
Here comes the pick again. See, this is a tough rotation right now for the Celtics.
Vinnie Johnson over Brian Shaw. Rebound kept alive and pulled down by Dennis Rodman, his 13th rebound. Listen to this crowd at the Palace.
Well, they appreciate Rodman's hard work.
Edwards in the crowd. Couldn't get the shot to fall, but he did earn a trip back to the free throw line.
Now we're going to show you the pick and roll. Now they take it to the opposite side of the lane. Now you're going to see there's a hesitation right there. You cannot do that. When it's a guard play, you can switch that and just play Joe off the dribble. Now I know I just said just play him off the dribble. Okay. Now we can't minimize the fact that Joe's on fire here this evening.
He's been remarkable. Dumars 13 of 17 field goals now. He has 30 points. 7 assists for Dumars. You could almost draw a graph of Dumars' play in this series as you see Larry Bird with that bad back stretched out along the sideline for the Celtics. You could almost draw a graph of Dumars' play in this series. It just keeps going up each game.
Up, right.
76-63, Pistons' biggest lead of the game. 4:57 to go, third quarter.
Now, you see, they're opening up the floor, so Chuck counters this by putting Rodman on Shaw.
Reggie Lewis, who has missed his last 7 field goals, now has missed his last 8. Hickney working hard, but Edwards came away with it, and he might be hurt. Hickney fell right on him. Dumars, nope, rebound rolling loose out near midcourt. Laimbeer comes away with it. Vinnie Johnson, all kinds of time.
They take their time. They just don't rush things. If they do not have that quick open shot, they get right back into their offense, and they stay with what is hot. Here's the pick and roll again.
It comes back to Edwards. Nope, the tip by Laimbeer puts it back in.
It from one side of the floor to the other. Now here comes the pick. Now as he comes off, watch as Edwards moves down here. Keep an eye on Eddie Pinckney rotating over. Now what we want to show you is that once you trap a man coming off, you've got to stop the pass. Now that was a behind the back. Now just watch as Pinckney comes out here now. That's not the key. The key is this guy. He has to play 2 offensive players. Now keep an eye over there when the shot goes up. See, he's outmanned. Once again, they take advantage of you, if mathematics.
It is 78-63. Pistons 5:15. D. Brown, Brian Shaw. Shaw over Rodman. Won't go for him. Rebound pulled away by Vinnie Johnson. What you've got now is a very experienced team that has won 2 championships back-to-back, playing a lot of youngsters because Robert Parrish out all night with the ankle sprain. Larry Bird with the bad back has been ineffective and is now on the bench. The only guy with any real playoff experience in there for Boston right now is Kevin McHale.
They're on such a roll right now, but you know, their defense is doing it. The defense is challenging everything, and they're holding Boston to only 1 shot.
Detroit has reeled off 8 in a row until D. Brown hits that jumper. He now has 12.
See, since McHale came in this way, Chuck Daly is determined to limit the amount of shots that McHale is getting. So they're sending 2 guys at McHale and saying, okay, you other 4 guys, let me see you beat us.
Another luxury this is giving Chuck Daly as Vinnie Johnson takes it over McHale. Won't go for him. Laimbeer pulls away the rebound, kicks it back out to Dumars. That's 10 rebounds for Bill Laimbeer.
Yeah, but they get every loose ball, Pete, as well as they are killing them on the offensive glass.
Dumars has shown you just about every conceivable field goal attempt tonight. Foul's going to be called on Rodman. I was about to say one of the luxuries that Chuck Daly has had in this game with the big score like this of 80-65. He has not played Isaiah Thomas many minutes tonight. This is almost like giving Isaiah that time off that he wants to have him fresh for Chicago if indeed Detroit's able to get to him.
Good point.
Burns checked back in. Rebound Edwards. And here come the Pistons again. 2.5 minutes to go in the third.
if you notice on the penetration, they go down in there. The Celtics beat their defender, except when they go down, they get intimidated with the shot clock. They are not completing the play. Look at this.
Lane Beer. Again, you saw Larry Bird just standing stiffly underneath the basket.
That's why when you play in a series like this, when you play against a great offensive rebounding team, here comes Isaiah in there right now. All 5 guys in green shirts must rebound. The guards and a small forward cannot be thinking about releasing for the transition game. The transition game cannot begin until you get the basketball.
Well, Larry Bird will get a trip to the free throw line. His first trip to the line tonight. He only has 4 points in the game. He has been ice cold from the field. Only 2 out of 9 from the field. He makes the free throws, giving him 6 points for the night, but still a long uphill battle for the Celtics, down by 13 with 2:10 remaining in the third. If Detroit wins this, Chicago is next for the Pistons.
The Pistons half-court offense tonight is just outstanding, freeing up people and taking advantage of every mismatch.
Edwards over McHale. Nope, and Kevin pulls away the rebound. Off to D. Brown. In transition, the Celtics on the run. McHale over Lane Beer. Nope, rebound. Look at that, Dennis Rodman. Keep that ball alive, but Lewis finally comes away with it.
Good call. That was a grab that time as Lewis started to explode out. See, McHale's going to continue to get frustrated if he doesn't get any shots in the low post. And you'll see he'll move out from the basket. Now here he is. He taps it one time. He taps it again. But he just could not get a piece. Now, as Reggie makes his move, he gets pulled.
Reggie Lewis scoring his first point of the second half. It's been ice cold tonight. Rodman sits down now. He's picked up his 3rd foul. Mark McGuire checking in. It's 80-68. Reggie Lewis trying for his 10th point. Remember, he's been averaging over 20 a night for the Celtics. They really need him to get going if they want to get back in this game. It's an 11-point lead now for the Pistons. You see the time left. Boston has reeled off 6 straight points to try to close the gap a little, but still a ways to go for the Celtics, who have trailed all night.
Everything on the baseline now for Vinny. The staggered picks.
Larry Bird got that rebound, his 2nd of the night only.
Now there's going to be a guard open because Vinny's back. Nice.
That's the way to slam it home for Eddie Pinckney. Second one of those we've seen from him tonight. He has 8 points.
When you're a big man, that's how you end the break.
Celtics have reeled off 8 straight, and the Piston lead back into single digits.
High pick and roll for Isaiah here. Maybe they're bringing Edwards on the baseline.
8 seconds left on the shot clock. 5 left on the shot clock. Aguirre will take a 3, come up short. Off the floor to D. Brown.
Celtics score now.
Stolen by Vinnie Johnson. Stolen right back by Pinckney. Yes.
How about that shot? Wow. Pinckney took that loose ball right off the floor, converted it. He's now 5 for 5 from the field.
And it makes it a 7-point game with 31.5 seconds left. We've got a timeout. The Celtics certainly not giving up in this one. A 10-point run has got them right back in it.
Well, they're one of the better defensive teams in the league, and we know that they're one of the best road teams. Now, they're doing this naturally without Paris, but defensively, they're making some tough shot attempts for Detroit in the last 3 minutes. This has allowed them to come back 10-0. Now, at the other end of the floor, if we notice in the last 3 minutes, high percentage shots versus some of those crazy twisting things that they were taking going into the lane.
And once again, Ed Pinckney having a big night. He has really responded to Chris Ford's demand for bigger and better minutes from him in these last 2 playoff games.
That was an excellent timeout by Chuck Daly. Go right back to his offensive stuff that he wanted to clear out. This is a good move, posting up Bird.
3 left on the shot clock. Edwards. He has 11 points all in this quarter.
See, every time you double team Detroit tonight down inside, the guy will make the move and then make the extra pass to the other side of the rim.
They get the ball into Kevin McHale. Look at the crowd he draws.
Oh, he got hit. There's no doubt about him getting hit. All right. are frustrated, and that's actually lifting's building. Now, when they hit him down on that double team, they double team, and he made the move, and you'll see him get bumped. Now, there's the push in the lower back, see? But now he gets hit right from the rear. But the main thing was the whistle was blown on the push in the lower back.
And Kevin McHale back to the free throw line. He's been there a lot tonight. He is now 10 of 13 from the line. 11 of 14 from the line. He has 27 points in the game. 82-75.
What a great defensive play, because Vinnie Johnson was all by himself underneath the basket that time.
3/10 of a second.
Going to put 3/10 of a second back on the clock here.
Now, that was a big-time gamble by the Celtics, sending two guys to trap that catch on that long baseball pass. Big thing now is do not allow your man to go to the front of the rim for a lob. 3/10 is enough for a guy to catch and shoot. There's the lob.
And McHale got the hand on it, keeping out of the hands of James Edwards. So quarter number 3 has come to an end. The Celtics with a 12-2 run at the end of quarter number 3 to keep their chances alive. It's 82-75 Detroit. One more quarter to go. We are inside that building, the Palace of Auburn Hills. Another sellout crowd here. Game 6 of this Eastern Conference semifinals. The Pistons need one more win to go on to meet Chicago in the Eastern Finals. The Celtics need a win to get it back to Boston for a Game 7. And I want to point out one thing which shows you at what level this game is being played tonight. Here it is, a very, very pressure-packed game for both clubs. Do you know in that entire third quarter, there was not a single turnover by either club? Only 4 turnovers in the game for Boston, only 8 for Detroit.
Now, Kevin McHale is looking at his left hand. When he went up to block that last lob pass to James Edwards, he got his left hand, the fingers caught in the net. And as he came down, he definitely stretched the hand out.
Isaiah Thomas, Vinnie Johnson, Bill Laimbeer, Edwards and McGuire out there for Detroit. Isaiah taking it to the hole, dishing back out to Bill Laimbeer for the open jumper. How many times have you seen the Pistons run that?
See, that they're conscious of Laimbeer, and yet Isaiah was still able to turn the corner and get down in the lane and pitch the ball back to Laimbeer. Amazing.
Back up to a 9-point game. Larry Bird underneath to D. Brown, and D. Brown puts it home. He has 14.
D. Brown caught Isaiah turning his head that time. D. Brown ran without the ball. A beautiful pass by Larry Bird.
84-77, Detroit up by 7. Vinnie Johnson a little short. Rebound tipped by Bird out to Brown. Celtics on the run. Brown's going to take it all the way
and
through.
It's in. It's in. Isn't that amazing? I'm telling you, he can really finish. He is a sensational player in the open floor. The big thing when you watch him now is you got to try to get in front of him. They play him on the side. See, they allow him to split. Now just look at this scoop, and it catches the front of the rim and drops in.
This may be the star of the next generation of Celtics, D. Brown.
He'll make things happen for you. He has great courage. He will consistently attack the rim for you.
Pistons have let a 17-point lead get down to a 4-point lead. They're on a 17-4 run. Detroit still up by 4, but the lead beginning to drift away, and there's a turnover by the Pistons. D. Brown again on the run, grabbed from behind by Isaiah.
All right, now that's a good move. Now everybody in the building wants a hit on Edwards at the other end. I definitely thought he got fouled on that shot attempt. We're going to show it to you going down in. See, once he makes his move, see, McHale's got him, had his hand in his back. But once again, McHale, an all-defensive player by Banks.
John Sally is checked into the lineup, replacing James Edwards.
Big possession right now for the Celtics.
They can get it to a 2-point game. Lewis over Sally. Yes. Reggie Lewis, first field goal since the first quarter. He has 12 points.
They've got 4 scorers out there now with D. Brown, Lewis, McHale, and Bird.
A 17-point lead has been cut to a 2-point lead. 10:20 remaining in the game.
Joe Dumars has not been a part of anything this half.
Mark McGuire gets his 8th point to get the lead back up to 4, 86-82.
Main thing if you're the Celtics, get what you're looking for. Take your time. It's a clear out once again for Lewis.
He missed it. Rebound pulled away by Sally.
Do they feel that he can shoot over the top of Dumars?
Sally from Isaiah. 10 for John Sally. The lead back up to 6.
22nd timeout, Rustin. Great pass. Great pass. Now this is making it fast. Watching for the trailer. Sally was the trailer coming right down the middle. His man was not in the picture. A good delivery, but most important, he slammed it home strong.
The one good thing about John Sally's game in this playoff series has been the offense he's provided. Everybody's always known what a good defensive player and rebounder he is, but offensively he has gotten some big baskets in the series against the Celtics.
Well, when you only play, half the game, 24 minutes, and you can average 7 to 8 points, that's terrific because, as we know, he is not the first or second option in any of their sets.
88-82. Pistons up by 6. The defense champ begins here at the Palace. Bill Laimbeer.
They have to call
his fourth.
They have to call that, Pete. Now Billy's all upset, but he was behind McHale. He challenged this pass. You watch, he comes right over the top. He's got him with both hands, see? Now he catches him right there. He catches him with the upper body and also the hand over the top.
Third team foul here in the fourth quarter against Detroit.
See, this is their pet play right here.
Across to D. Brown. He finds an open Reggie Lewis. And Lewis might be warming up here in the fourth quarter. He now has 14.
So Detroit double teaming with Sally. That necessitates 2 passes out of that trap. Good ball movement by the Celtics.
And again, it was the rookie D. Brown in the middle who made that second pass.
See, Joe Dumars has not had very many, shot chances in this half.
30 points on the night, but he had 25 of them in the first half. Aguirre over Bird.
How did that go in?
Chuck Daly asks that a lot about Mark Aguirre, he told us this morning. 90-84.
This is looking like game 5 all over.
Bird with a payback? No. Rebound. Joe Dumars.
That could have been a discontinue there. He dribbled it, stopped, and then dribbled again, unless you say that it hit the Celtic player.
3-4 passes to Dumars. The three-pointer wouldn't go. Rebound comes out deep to Isaiah Thomas. To John Sally, the alley-oop for 2 more.
Another timeout. Aguirre, on this play. Now just watch how Bird bumps him and he jackknifes on the shot. Just watch. See, there's your bump and the jackknife. It's like Chuck Daly said, he's one of the most gifted scorers ever in this league from the low post. Look at this shot. He caught him right in the stomach area. He said, why? Because he's small for a post-up man, and also he has very little lift on his shot.
And you heard the three-peat chant here in the Palace as we return. 92-84. Kevin McHale makes it a 6-point game. 92-86. He has 29 points. He's 9 for 15 from the field.
They're hanging right there.
They are.
Just need some good defensive pressure. And then the main thing is for Detroit to stay within what's been good. Here it is here. Isaiah's been making some great passes. They catch Eddie Pinckney here. See, they're so concerned with Laimbeer now that any time that Laimbeer goes to spot up off of the picks, that Eddie Pinckney just grabbed him that time.
Only the first team foul called against the Celtics in this final quarter. Dumars, who was on fire in the first half, trying to light it up again.
Great
that
block.
one blocked by Reggie Lewis.
You must go.
Picks up the loose ball.
You go now. One of the guards are open.
Lewis back over to D. Brown. Brown shot a little short. Rebound pulled away by Larry Bird underneath to Pinckney. Pinckney wrestled down by Mark Aguirre.
Now, Bird definitely could not elevate for that shot. Because he had an opportunity. He gave the head fake. Nice pass to Eddie. And Eddie has been doing a terrific. Cannot say enough about Ed Pinckney in the playoffs versus Indiana and in this series.
Pinckney's first trip to the free throw line. He has 10 points tonight. 92-86 still.
Now, he was 12 for 12 before that foul shot.
Boston now 20 of 25 from the line, 21 of 26. Detroit only 9 of 14 from the line tonight, but they still have a 5-point lead, 7:18 remaining in Game 6.
Now, your primary guys now are Dumars and Mark Aguirre. It's a clear out.
Dumars taking it. This one wouldn't go. A rebound, battle for. McHale kept it alive and pulled it down. Off to D. Brown. Brown to Lewis. He's got Sally right there, and I think Sally's going to be called for another one.
Reggie Lewis, so talented. Because if he shows any kind of eye movement for the rim or any kind of shoulder ball fake, the player comes right at him. And he's so clever off the dribble, and he has the ability to drop that shoulder and take the hit, so he'll get off the shot.
Averaging close to 23 a game.
Now, Game 5, how about this for your second guard, the leading rebounder with 11 rebounds?
He has 16 points in this game. It's a 3-point game, 92-89. The Pistons have led it all the way. They got the lead up as much as 17, but the Celtics are right back in it. 6:50 remaining. Sally had that one blocked by Pinckney. And the loose ball picked up by Lewis.
The Detroit transition defense really being tested.
Ball rolling loose underneath. Pinckney couldn't get it to go. Lewis couldn't get it to go. Laimbeer pulls down the rebound. 13 rebounds for Bill Laimbeer.
2 excellent shot chances there. They were right there.
92-89 Pistons by 3. Dumars into the lane. Back out to Isaiah for 3. Yes.
Oh, give me a break. What a big shot.
It doubles the lead. A 6-pointer now. 95-89 for Detroit. Closing into the 6-minute mark. Larry Bird. To McHale. He's going to try one from out there, and he nails it.
Why not? Why not, right? Isaiah's first, McHale's first. But McHale is a 40% shooter during the year in 3.
That was the first 3-point attempt made tonight by the Celtics. Detroit 4 out of 10 from 3-point land. McHale, by the way, 32 points now. Dumars. No whistle. Laimbeer. Yes. Bill Laimbeer has 13. That lead back up to 5 now. 97-92.
Are they killing you with the clock down, Pete? They're just killing you by making the shot with 2 or 3 seconds on the clock.
Bird isolated on Aguirre. Puts the jumper up. That's the biggest jump shot we've seen Larry Bird hit tonight. Yeah, he has 8, only 3 of 11 from the field.
He'll unwind now, because especially if Aguirre stays on him, he'll continue to go down in and post up.
Back to a 3-point game, closing in on the 5-minute mark.
I remember now the Celtics are shooting the penalty.
Isaiah Thomas, Brown slipped away from him. Isaiah now with 9 points. 99-94, under 5 minutes to go. Pistons need to win one more to meet Chicago in the finals.
They have to milk this out.
Larry Bird over Aguirre. No. Laimbeer, rebound number 14.
When Larry gets in that area and shoots the basketball, you should see 2 green shirts on the offensive board. You know he's going to take Aguirre down in there. Oh, great move.
Sally had no shot, kicks it back out to Aguirre. Laimbeer around Pinckney. Over to Isaiah. 2 seconds left on the shot clock. Not this time. Rebound McHale.
That was pretty.
4:15 to go in the game.
Go.
Watch D. Brown operate inside.
Joe Dumars had no chance that time. He jumped up in the air, shifted gears, and moved over 3 feet.
He changed directions 3 times while in the air. 99-96. D. Brown having another big game for Boston. He's 9 of 12 in the field. Dumars going through the crowd, losing the ball. Still belongs to Detroit. Dumars wanted the foul call against Boston.
He's really hot. He's really hot. There's been a lot of contact going down in there, no doubt about it. The breaks now are going with the Celtics over the last 5 minutes on any penetration by Detroit to the basket. Celtics are getting every non-call.
Chuck Daly wants a timeout. And he gets it with 3:53 remaining in the game. The Pistons holding on to a 3-point lead, 99-96. Certainly do. Look at the rebounding difference, 47-30. And how about the job Kevin McHale has led the Boston bench in doubling Detroit's bench output, but it's still the Pistons leading it 99-96.
Trying to show you Larry Bird. Now, see, they must take advantage of this right now, even though Larry is 3 for 12. Now, he missed the next one right after that, but there are no green shirts. Now, this is Larry's career. 12 years in the league, 3 titles, 3 times he's been MVP, 10 times he's been an NBA All-Star, first team All-NBA 9 times, and on the second team, once. Incredible 12 years.
And back surgery is probable for Larry Bird when the Celtics season is over. And you really have to wonder he'll be about next year.
Well, he said an operation is definitely the choice because I must get rid of the pain for good if I'm going to lead a normal existence.
Well, here we go with 3:52. Isaiah Thomas launching a 3. Wouldn't go. Rebound pulled off the floor by Pinckney. And now it could be a 1-point game or a tie game if Boston's got a 3-point play here.
In this spurt, this group for Boston doing a great job holding them down to 1 shot. This play's busted. It's too far out now.
7 seconds left on the shot clock. Lewis coming up short. Rebound out to John Sally. Punched away by Lewis. That's an over and back, though.
Now, that's interesting. You know, that to me, it didn't look like there was any possession that time. That ball was hit. But, good call. No one's arguing.
And it goes back to Detroit. This crowd really beginning to get a little antsy now as Boston has cut it down to 3 with 3:18 to go. Look at that pass, but look at that block by D. Brown.
Holy smokes! Was he up there?
And Brown brings it down for Boston. A chance again for the Celtics to get within 1 or tie it.
This is tough. Rodman's on Bird.
Who's going to win the matchup? Larry Bird's fall-away jumper over Dennis Rodman makes it a 1-point game.
Over and around. He went back out about 6 feet to get that one off.
You see the time left. Detroit leading it by 1. But the momentum has definitely swung Boston's way. Dumars. Rebound Sally.
Rodman kept that one alive.
2.5 minutes left. 99-98 Pistons. 8 seconds left on the shot clock.
Now the big thing, Pinckney's got to make Isaiah shoot over him.
Wayne Beer will take it over Brown. All that time and all that work didn't pay off.
Rodman, loose ball. He was sandwiched in between Lewis and Pinckney that time.
And that is 4 now on Rodman. It's the 15th foul, so we're in the penalty now. It's 99-98. Detroit leading, and for the first time tonight, Boston with a chance to take the lead here.
Now that's a great move by Larry as he steps back.
Larry Bird, 2 for 2 from the line tonight. He has 10 points. He can put Boston on top for the first time tonight. That ties the game. First time we've been tied since the opening tip. Here comes Mark McGuire back in. John Sally will sit down.
Chris Ford has used Larry in games 4, 5, and 6 as a passer. He just said, Larry, if you could just hang in there, try to keep them off the offensive glass. He usually has a passer, a decoy. But just like game 5, he's opening up in the offense in the last quarter.
With 3:34 left in the third quarter, the Pistons had a 17-point lead. With 2:08 left in the game, Boston has the lead for the first time tonight.
Plenty of time.
Edwards over McHale. The foul's going to be on Kevin McHale. That is his third.
It's okay. In a situation like this, you're going to force James Edwards to go to the line and make the foul shots. We said that during the course of the year, James is only a 72% shooter. You got to force him to make it. That would have been an easy shot for James.
Edwards 5 out of 6 from the free throw line tonight. All 11 of those points came in the third quarter. He was the big gun for Detroit in quarter number 3. That ties it at 100. Detroit's made only 10 of 15 free throws tonight. Boston has shot twice as many. They've shot 30 and made 25.
Now, Chuck Daly playing offense, defense with Aguirre and Rodman. Rodman back to cover Bird.
Edwards hits them both. He has 13. The lead belongs to Detroit again. 101-100, under 2 minutes remaining.
Now we're seeing some great pressure. Guys rising to the occasion here.
Especially this guy, D. Brown, for the Celtics. He has led the Celtic comeback.
Oh, nice move by McHale.
Trying to get it underneath to Lewis. Does, and Lewis puts it home. And, or did he?
Yeah, and they call the foul here. Now, that McHale fake going away. And that was a beautiful decoy. You're going to see, well, now we got it to you. Now, he comes right down in here off the double team. A terrific pass because Reggie Lewis's man went over to double team McHale. We say this all the time about Kevin. If you have an easier shot cutting to the basket, he'll always deliver the pass.
At the line now, Reggie Lewis, only 7 of 22 from the field tonight.
Doesn't matter. You have a chance to win, Pete. And he is playing big in this quarter, just like Bird.
He has scored 9 of his 19 points in the fourth quarter. Celtics up by 2. A minute and a half to go.
They're going to slice Aguirre. Now here comes Joe around a double screen.
Dumars somehow got between 3 Celtics. He now has 32 points. We are tied at 103. He was triple teamed that time.
Oh, my. Reggie Evans.
103, McHale. Out to D. Brown. 6 seconds left, shot clock.
Bad spacing.
Lewis.
No, but McHale tips it home. Big offensive putback by Kevin McHale. He has 34. That ties his career playoff high.
Now, I disagree with that one. We had a pretty good angle right here on that shot. And we're in an excellent position. That ball is coming off the rim. Remember, the ball cannot be above the ceiling. It must be coming off. And you're going to see it. There it is right there. Absolutely no chance. Plus, he got it below the rim along with it. So you can understand why Kevin McHale is very upset.
Well, he certainly is. Stops the clock with 58.8 to go. DB.
Now you're going to see as the ball hits, it's going to come to the left of the rim. And as it comes to, and watch it now, now see it's off, and more important, he catches it. The ball was, he caught it, the hand was below the rim. A very tough call to go against you. Now, Boston, 2 full timeouts. Both teams are shooting the penalty. Chuck Daly has a 20, and that's to their favor.
103. Less than a minute to go.
Watching Dumars on the baseline. 2-man game here now.
Edwards will get one more trip to the free throw line.
He definitely got fouled. He got hit by both guys. D. Brown, who was coming down in to help out, as well as Kevin McHale, who was playing him. Kevin McHale, remember now, you're Boston. You have 2 timeouts. When a guy gets fouled like this, you do not have to even waste the timeout because there's been so much time before he goes to the foul line to shoot 2 that you have a chance to tell your players, and that's exactly what Chris Ford is doing now. He's telling everybody the play that he wants.
And Edwards, who, as you mentioned, has never been a particularly good free throw shooter, has been a good one tonight. He's 8 of 9 tonight.
Now Rodman is back in the game to pick up Bird.
He has made 8 in a row, in fact, after missing his first one. 104-103. Pistons have the lead back. Edwards makes them both. He's 9 of 10 from the line. 15 points on the night. Pistons up by 2. 16 on the
posting
shot
up
clock.
Larry.
With Rodman on it. Wouldn't go. Rebound, Joe Dumars.
A great pressure by Rodman that time.
A 3-second difference in the shot clock and the game clock. Boston stops the clock with a foul on Reggie Lewis. And now the crowd beginning to feel it just a little bit. In the 2 world championships won by the Celtics, and in winning the first playoff series this year to get into round 2, they have played 9 series
and only 3 of them, the deciding game has been in this building. So these fans haven't had the chance to celebrate live with their team, except on 3 occasions. Dumars tonight, 32 points, 10 assists, only a second trip to the free throw line, but what a big first half he had.
Oh, boy. That's a tough one. Because now, once again, you have 21 seconds. The Celtics have some excellent three-point shooters. Boston has 2 timeouts left. Missed it.
He missed them both. Joe Dumars, one of the best free throw shooters.
He's 11th in the league. Shot 89% for the season, and it had such an incredible first half. Joe very, very upset with himself.
It gives the ball back to Boston with 20.4 seconds remaining. In this game, think how the players must feel. And Hubie asked Bill Laimbeer a question about that very thing earlier.
Winning a championship is mental and physical torture. People vastly underestimate the mental part. We're real good at it, and it comes kind of naturally to us, but it's still a grinding experience. You know, the physical part will take care of itself. But to go every night and to gear up totally emotionally every game and to be focused on our job, not only just shooting the basketball, but your defensive responsibilities, your offensive responsibilities, is very difficult. But after the first round this year, especially, our team came together and said, yes, we're willing to put ourselves through that punishment to win the championship.
We're very well said by a very intelligent young man. Now, you're the Celtics here. Remember, the most dangerous guy in the building is the guy out of bounds, not just because it's Larry Bird, but the situation. They will go to something that they can get quick because they want to have second opportunities and then even foul. It's a clear out for Reggie Lewis.
He gets around Dumars, won't go. Rebound, Lewis.
Yes.
We are tied again at 105 with 7.8 seconds remaining in the game. And the Detroit Pistons call a timeout. They will have the ball with a game tied at 105. And you know what that points do? Those points do for Reggie Lewis? Gets him over 20 again, which means he has scored over 20 in every game in this series. But a big offensive board may be as big as the basket for Reggie Lewis.
Now, the main thing for Chuck Daly and his squad, you must get the ball in bounds in this situation. You know that this is a terrific way to keep the ball alive by Pinckney and then Lewis running the ball down. But the main thing here is that Detroit understands that getting the ball in bounds is key. They have a 20-second to use, and they also have an additional timeout. Now, Boston, if they should foul or Detroit scored and there were a few seconds left, Boston has a timeout. Now, they love to get the basketball in the hands of Isaiah Thomas. Chuck Daly has an incredible confidence in Isaiah to make something happen. At least he's usually involved in the play in the past. Now, you're Boston. This is a tough defense for you. You know you cannot foul because both teams are in the penalty. You know that when the shot goes up, that everyone must block out and 5 guys must rebound. As soon as you rebound the ball, you call timeout. You try for the timeout. You never know. There might be 1 second, 2 seconds on the clock. The main thing now is to not foul a jump shooter.
You hear the three-peat chant in the background as the Detroit crowd wants to see the Pistons win it in these closing seconds. You see what Detroit has shot from the field in this fourth quarter. They send out Joe Dumars, Dennis Rodman, Mark Aguirre, Isaiah Thomas, Bill Laimbeer. On the court for the Celtics, Pinckney, Lewis, Bird, McHale, and D. Brown.
Now, they're putting in their offensive gun. They have 4 perimeter guys in there right now. Chuck Daly just took a 20. Now, because Isaiah seemed, the rest of the guys came out to half court. Isaiah stayed and was talking to Chuck. So if there is going to be a question, let's take care of that right now, because you still have 1 timeout in case Boston does an excellent job in denying you the inbounds pass.
And in these closing 7.8 seconds, we'll find out whether Detroit clinches and goes to play Chicago next, or whether this series goes back to Boston. Next Tuesday night, a doubleheader, Detroit or Boston at Chicago, the Lakers in Portland, here on TNT. So we're about to resume here now. 7.8 seconds. 105.
Now Boston, they are not playing Rodman. Bird is not playing Rodman out of bounds. They will probably use Bird to double team. Now remember, in this league, once that ball comes inbound, if that guy is a good outside shooter, he would look for the shot. If not, he should just cut right to the basket, right down the lane. Dennis Rodman, because Bird will be preoccupied double teaming here.
And it comes to Isaiah Thomas.
Oh, they're opening it up for Isaiah.
He lost it, got it back, turnaround, fall away shot, won't go. We're going to overtime in game 6.
Great defense. Great defense in helping. Isaiah gets past his man, but runs into the help defense. This was outstanding. Now we're going to show you the play right now. Bird fakes the double team, and now he picks up Rob. Now just watch as Isaiah gets by to the right of the lane. Now here comes Bird. Bird is playing like a free safety. He runs right into Bird. You could not call that a block, and you know you're not going to get a charge call in that situation here.
Late in the third quarter, we had a 17-point Piston lead. Now we're going to overtime in game 6. Right now, going to overtime. Boston trying to stay alive and send it back to the Boston Garden. And here we go, Hubie.
Well, it's great defense by the Celtics. And then Bird, D. Brown, and then Reggie Lewis stepping forward. They made all of the key plays. Eddie Pinkney keeping things alive. They did an excellent job. They rose to the occasion. And you got to give the Celtics a tremendous amount of credit.
You certainly do, because they were 17 points down with about 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. And for all intents and purposes, it really looked like they were about out of it.
Now, Lambier is the main guy here with 5.
Tell you what, the home court advantage sure hasn't shown in this series. In the first 5 games, the home team won only twice, and it's Boston on the road making the valiant comeback in this one.
Well, they played that well.
Dumars over Lewis. Really strong with the shot. We're going to get a jump ball here.
Now, that time, the Celtics, 2 guys inside, Pinkney and McHale. Lambier just reached over the top, and with the strength in his hands, was able to cause a jump ball. Oh, they stole that one. Stole that one. Sure did. Chuck Daly's going nuts right now on the sideline.
But no call, and D. Brown walks it down for the Celtics.
They're looking at D. Brown, Isaiah Thomas. Now they're bringing Reggie Lewis on the cut. But this is what they want right here. Kevin McHale, one-on-one versus Sally.
He takes it over John Sally. That wouldn't go. Rebound pulled away by Pinkney.
Eddie Pinkney, he's the man. He's the man.
On the offensive boards, the last 2 games, he has been outstanding for Boston, who got clobbered on the offensive boards in game 4. Reggie Lewis with 23 gets the first point to the overtime. 107-105 Boston.
He surprised them that time, Pete, by not putting the ball on the floor. He made that's the first time tonight. He caught it and shot and split the 2 defenders.
Isaiah over D. Brown. No, rebound, D. Brown. He gets a mile in the air for that one. He has 5 rebounds tonight. Remember early in the game when he came down, looked like he hurt his ankle? We haven't seen much of it in the second half, have we?
Now Reggie Lewis going out on either side. Now 2-man game with Bird. He just cleared one-on-one. Oh, nice move.
Got around Dumars. There comes Sally. No whistle. Pinkney. Another offensive rebound and the putback to make it 109-105.
You know what? Detroit relaxed there, Pete. They relaxed because they thought Sally fouled him. Eddie Pinkney kept working that time. Now we're going to show it to you right here. Now just watch. This is a great crossover. Now as Sally comes in here, he gets him. He hits him. But everyone stops except Pinkney. Now just look at this. 2-handed stuff. See, that's playing smart basketball.
Pinkney now 6 of 6 from the field, 9 rebounds, 5 of them offensive boards. And you have to consider, too, that Robert Parrish has been unavailable all night, but Ed Pinkney has been the guy that stepped forward and helped control the boards in the second half to give the Celtics this chance to send it back to Boston for a 7th game.
He's played really big, and he's been down in there doing all the work, especially against 2 players all the time on the glass. Well, let's give the Celtics a lot of credit for making the shots.
Pinkney actually with 13 points tonight.
And you have to lay off the Sally there.
Edwards over McHale. First points of the overtime for James Edwards. He'll get it back to a 2-point game.
Hey, that was a nice play. That's the first time they've done that, where a forward passed the basketball. That was Sally hitting Edwards.
McHale working on Edwards now. Short rebound, Isaiah Thomas. Pistons can tie it up here. 2:47 to go in the overtime.
Two-man game, Isaiah and Edwards. They're going to motion. That means that Vinnie Johnson's coming off of 3 picks here.
Guess who had a hand on that ball? Eddie Pinckney again. 4 seconds on the shot clock.
Vinnie Johnson was late coming out on the left side, and that opened up Aguirre, but Eddie Pinckney with the long arms.
Looked like Vinnie Johnson couldn't get through. Isaiah trying to beat the clock with a 3. Do you believe it?
Bank that baby in.
Pistons by 1. 2:18 remaining in the overtime.
Okay. Now they're going down inside with Bird. See, they wanted to have Bird go on Aguirre. They're wasting too much time here.
Dee Brown takes and hits the jump shot.
Does he have courage?
He did that in Game 5 up at the Boston Garden.
And not only does he hit the shot, they get a loose ball foul on Sally versus Eddie Pinckney down inside. See, Pinckney is exasperating the Detroit front line because he's working so hard to get position. The toughest thing in basketball is offensive rebounding because, baby, you're getting body to body and you're getting hit with a lot of elbows.
Dee Brown now with 21 points. Pinckney with 13 points tonight. The free throw line missing. Rebound pulled away by Detroit. Celtics lead it 111-110. Under 2 minutes to go now in the first overtime. A win by Detroit sends them to Chicago. A win by Boston sends both these teams back to the Boston Garden. Isaiah Thomas
drilling another one. And you know, he did that. He hesitated on that beat. He really did not have good balance, but he just paused before he elevated to make that shot.
Isaiah Thomas with 5 in the overtime, 14 in the game. Pistons lead it 112-111, a minute 41 to go. A timeout. Let's go 112-111. Isaiah Thomas with 2 clutch shots to give the Pistons the lead back.
Now this shot right now, the shot clock is running down. Dee Brown trying not to get beat off the dribble. Look at this ball. He banks it in. Then he comes right back, and he comes off of this pick and roll. They see he hesitates right there until he got himself under control. Beautiful. Nothing but net. Right now, Boston and Detroit both have 2 timeouts left. Fouls to give. Boston has 3. Detroit has committed 1 in the overtime.
So here comes Dee Brown down the court to try to give the Celtics the lead back. Isaiah picks him up.
That's his 2-man, Dee Brown and McHale.
The Celtics playing with their playoff life here. They have to win to stay alive this year.
It took Dee Brown too long a period of time, and they were really fighting down inside. Lambier would not allow Kevin McHale to post up. Now you have 10 seconds.
Almost stolen by Isaiah again.
See, Zeke is going for everything right now. You know, there's no limp, nothing. He is really moving. Now they took 1 second off, and that's legit. 9 seconds. Isaiah's trying to deny Dee Brown coming to the ball.
9 seconds on the shot clock. In it comes to Dee Brown. Isaiah's on him. Brown into the paint, off the glass. That one wouldn't go. Rebound rolling loose. They battle for it. Sally and McHale tying each other up.
That's all right. That's only Boston's first foul.
That's number 5 on Kevin McHale. And with a minute 17 to go, the ball goes back to Detroit. Rodman will sit down. The offense-defense coming back into it now. Edwards steps into the lineup for the Pistons.
You got to see Dee Brown as he gets in here. This is a very tough shot. All right, he just did not get a good look at the rim. And as the ball goes down in there, Kevin is fighting down in there with 3 white shirts.
Lane Beer.
How about
He hit a big shot in Game 5. He just hit a big one in Game 6.
big shot?
15 for Lane Beer. Pistons by 3 under a minute to go in overtime.
Vinnie Johnson really denying hard on Reggie Lewis.
And they're going to call the foul on Vinnie Johnson. But that was the one foul Detroit had to give.
Now,
here comes Rodman and Sally back in, and Dumars.
The next foul, either way, is the penalty. Now they're trying to open up Reggie Lewis. They're coming off some curls. But the Celtics are really fighting hard to get open. It's being negated because Detroit doing an excellent job pushing the guys out further than where they want to receive the pass.
114-111 Detroit. 53 seconds remaining in the overtime. It'll be Rodman on Bird again.
I remember both teams have 2 timeouts remaining. They're trying to play 2-man. They wasted some precious seconds there.
And traveling. Turns the ball back over to Detroit. And it's beginning to slip away from Boston.
Well, the big thing now is you just need a defensive stop if you're Boston. You see, right now, Chris is trying to tell D. Brown, relax, relax. He felt bad that time. There's no doubt about it.
It's only the 7th turnover of the night for the Celtics.
So when you're Chris Boyd, he doesn't know that. Come on. Now this is big. You must hold Detroit to 1 shot here if you're the Celtics.
15 on the shot clock.
Plenty of time. 30 seconds. NBA could take a half hour.
10 on the shot clock. Isaiah again.
Oh, man.
He has hit 3 huge shots in this overtime. The Pistons lead it by 5. Isaiah has saved his best for last in this series. Seconds away from seeing this matchup, Chicago and Detroit in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Now that was Isaiah Thomas's 7th point in this overtime. Now right now you're down 5 points with 25 seconds to go. The most important thing is to score quickly. Here's Isaiah coming off here now. He just levels off the defender, D. Brown, to get his shot. He just loves that area on the side. Now, a very jubilant Isaiah. Now, the Celtics, you're down to only 1 timeout. So you cannot waste one getting the ball in bounds right now. But you must score quickly. By scoring quickly, you hope to put your defense on and then force them into a turnover. If they have to use the timeout, fine. The main thing now is that if you do not make a steal on any inbound pass, is that you foul quickly and force Detroit to make the foul shot.
Isn't it amazing how a player's fortunes can change? Remember Monday, here in this building in Game 4, how dejected Isaiah looked sitting on that bench unable to play? And now here it is 4 days later, and he can be the hero.
He's done it so many times. People who follow the NBA know this is just typical Isaiah Thomas. How about in Game 6 in LA, right? 4 years back. Swollen ankle, he gets 25 points in the quarter, sets the NBA record on his way to 43 playing on 1 leg.
Well, here we go, 25 seconds to go. Boston with the ball, trailing by 5. Isaiah got a hand on that one.
Isaiah's playing him tough. You notice, Pete, he's gambling for everything, whether it's the pass. See, that lost some precious seconds. They opened up the floor for D. Brown to let him go.
And it comes to McHale. Celtics need to shoot it in a hurry. They're down by 5. McHale will be given the easy 2. He has 34. It's 116, 113.
That's all right. That's a good foul by D. Brown. You're down 3. That's the penalty. Now, you're putting the pressure on Isaiah to make 2. Boston only 1 timeout remaining.
And at the line, Isaiah Thomas. He has 16 points in this game, 7 of them in the overtime. On a 3-pointer and 2 2-pointers. His first free throw attempt of the night. Falls. (117-113). That mischievous grin begins to return to the face of Isaiah Thomas. Second one, no good. Rebound, Larry Bird.
They're going right after this.
Lewis for 3. Rattled the rim, came out of bounds, but off Detroit. Still Boston's ball. 117-113, 6.5 seconds to go. And Boston will use their last timeout.
I was kind of surprised that he launched that 3 right off the bat, but he must have had the feel, because he was not really contested. He launched it. If he hit it, it would have been a great. You would have been 1 down on any inbound pass. Naturally, you would have fouled. Now, in this situation, you got 6.5 seconds to go. You're Detroit. You're telling your guys down in there, keep your man between you and the basket. Whatever you do not foul a 3-point shooter. And you might even mention there might be a fine about that time. All right, Pete? Because the only way they can get you now is with a 4-point play.
Well, right after tonight's game, stay right with us, because inside the NBA comes along next. Fred Hickman, Hannah Storm will be along with a little bit about what's been going on this week in these playoff series. We hope you've enjoyed some of the contests that we have brought you. We have had some dandy games all week long, East and West. The Celtics perhaps in the dying moments of their season.
You're in a tough situation now, you're Boston. You naturally want to score as quickly as you possibly can. If you could get the 3, fine. Detroit will probably be switching all over the place, and they'll allow you to take the shot. The main thing here is that Detroit, no foul. Larry Bird.
Are we looking at the final moments of Larry Bird's career? If he has that back surgery, we might be.
Well, you know, you're just hoping that the surgery will be successful. He's only the 5th man in the history of the game. 20,000 points, 5,000 assists. There it is.
Stolen by Dumars. Stolen back by Brown. Stolen back by Isaiah, who goes flying into the crowd, and he can start celebrating with the fans. The Detroit Pistons have eliminated the Boston Celtics 4 games to 2 with a dramatic 117-113 victory over the Celtics. Kevin McHale congratulating Isaiah Thomas, who is heading our way after a sensational performance, particularly in the overtime when he hit 8 of his 17 points. He's climbing right over the top of the table to get down here to be with us. The Detroit Pistons, who earlier in this week were down 2 games to 1 to the Boston Celtics. And the man sitting beside us here was unable to play in Game 4, has come all the way back. Isaiah, congratulations.
I'm having trouble hearing through these. Okay.
That better?
Yeah.
Congratulations on just a phenomenal performance.
Thank you.
Now listen, on Monday you were Grumps, Mr. Grumps. Now tonight you're not Mr. Grumps. How dare you banking a 3-point shot?
Well, sometimes God is on your side. It wasn't skill, it was all luck.
Well, you came up big at the end, Zeke. What's going through your mind? Because both of the shots that you made, the long jumpers, the shot clock is down.
Well, I knew we hadn't got to the bonus yet. And right here, I was just trying to make sure we get a shot up and get it off the board so maybe we can get a rebound or something. I honestly wasn't trying to bank the shot. I was just trying to shoot it up against the backboard so we can maybe get a rebound.
It seems like you were able to elevate your game to that extra special level at crisis moments, which it became because you guys had a 17-point lead and got away from you.
I just didn't want to lose. You know, we worked so hard to get here. It's been a very hard year for us. Everything's been stacked up against us, and we get here in a game such as tonight. Boston came out, played a great game. They didn't die. Bird was phenomenal. McHale was fantastic, and you just didn't want to lose. I didn't want to lose. I didn't want to go to Boston. I know Boston people are great. The Garden is great. But damn it, I don't want to see it again this year.
Well, you won't now.
In the last timeout, you guys jubilant, nervous, 4-point play? What's going through Chuck's mind talking to him?
Well, the first thing he said was don't give up a 3-point shot. Try to make him get a 2-point shot. Everybody play hard, stay home, no fouls, and if they score, take a timeout. If you take a timeout, we put our free throw shooters back in the game. They foul our free throw shooters. We get Robin and Sally out of the game. They foul the free throw shooters, and maybe we can go to the line to make free throws.
Now, listen, we know you won this. This is sensational. Sunday at 3:30, Chicago Bulls in Chicago. Over the last 2 years, 30-7. They beat you guys 5 times. What are we going to be looking for?
I think you're going to see a very well-played series. All season long, they've been saying they wanted to play us. We were the team that they've been shooting for all season long. I know they're well prepared, they're well rested, and it's going to be a hell of a series. I think that not only we're looking forward to it, Chicago's looking forward to it, but I think the rest of the world's looking forward to it because now you get to see which is the best team.
That's going to be a great series, and we're going to have some of that series for you on TNT next week. Isaiah Thomas, congratulations once again from all of us for just a phenomenal performance down the stretch. Let's go back down to our studios in Atlanta. The Detroit Pistons win it 4-2 over the Boston Celtics in what has been a great series. Every game right down to the wire, really, Hubie, except for that third one.
It's been exciting, and the Celtics could not give any more than they have in games 4, 5, and 6. But Detroit answered the bell.
Now, what about the next series for Detroit, the Chicago Bulls in the Eastern Finals?
Well, look, Chicago's beaten them 5 times in the playoffs over the last 2 years. The rest of the playoff series, 6 other series, they only lost 2 games. And Chicago has home court advantage. I feel that Chicago definitely playing right at the top of their game. They are going to need maximum effort, outstanding execution, and then the defense of Detroit is going to have to step up and play very, very big in that series.
Well, Detroit has been able to step up and play big both offensively and defensively whenever they've had to. In this one, we'll see if they can do it again when they meet Chicago next. Our Budweiser player of the game, I don't think there's much question about it. There are a lot of different candidates going into that overtime, but Isaiah Thomas with those huge baskets in the overtime and also the excellent defense that he played down the stretch. He is our Budweiser player of the game. There you see the numbers for Isaiah tonight. Be sure to stay with TNT. NBA playoff action will continue next Tuesday. It will be the Detroit Pistons and the Chicago Bulls in Game 2 of that series, followed by the Lakers and Portland.